I want to talk Indianapolis Colts, Daniel Jones. What were your thoughts and impressions on the game against the Rams? Because really, this was their first test of the year, I would say.
Yeah, it's the Colts' first test of the year, and as a fan, I don't like to lose. Now that I have expectations for their Colts, I don't like losing. But in a weird way, I feel like they passed the test, although they lost. In a way, yeah, they lost, but it felt like, oh, the Colts are like actually for real. Not, I wouldn't go as far to say the Colts are like S tier Super Bowl contenders, but they hung in with the Rams. If A.D. Mitchell doesn't drop that ball heading to the end zone, it's a completely different story today. Maybe the Colts leave SoFi with the W, and you're like, oh my gosh, Colts 4-0, and they just beat Stafford and McVay in that defense. But Daniel Jones, he had his worst game, but you still felt comfortable with Daniel Jones. He had some turnovers. He had some Daniel New York Jones turnovers. But then he still had Steichen still got him making plays. Jonathan Taylor had that run called back that also could have been a touchdown. He looks like one of the offensive player of the years. Michael Pittman is balling out every game. Josh Downs is solid. Tyler Warren's a beast. Again, if A.D. Mitchell just doesn't have that boneheaded Jonathan Taylor-esque fumble at the goal line that ends up becoming a touchback, the Colts might walk away with the win. So in a way, I don't like that the Colts lost. Obviously, as a fan, you don't like a loss. But in another way, it's like I feel more confident with this team now.
I think you gotta, because going into the game, you're like, well, they've looked good, but have they played some true competition? You get the Rams, and that's a winnable game in my opinion. You leave 14 points off the board because of costly errors you make by yourself. It's not on the Rams, it's you, right? To me, that game told me the Colts proved they're not frauds. Like, they're a legit playoff contender. I think they can make the playoffs. I think that they're number one in that division. I think they're a really good team. The defense is a lot better than I expected this year. They just went toe-to-toe with the second-best team in the NFC, in my opinion. And the offense, there's a lot to root for. Like you said, Daniel Jones wasn't his best outing, but I still thought Daniel Jones balled out. I still thought Daniel Jones had an impressive game. Jonathan Taylor looks like an animal. He has since they drafted him, to be honest with you. He had that one huge year. I think he's in for another one. I was a little concerned, to be honest with you, Steve, about that offensive line in Indianapolis because they lost a few guys to Minnesota, but they've looked really, really good. And like you said, Pittman, Warren, Downs, Mitchell, there's a lot of options on that offense that you can turn to. Maybe not a true number one, Jamar Chase or a Jefferson, but you got a lot of guys. It's kind of like the Packers receiver room almost. You got a lot of guys you can turn to. You don't know whose day it's going to be. A.D. Mitchell erased 14 points for them this week. And honestly, it was a boneheaded mistake to drop the ball at the goal line, but I don't think it was as bad as some I've seen in the past, throwing it back, going crazy. Like, he was conscious of what was going on, and that holding penalty, it was bad, but things happen, right? You make some mistakes, they move on. I thought it was impressive. Daniel Jones impressed me a lot. This was his biggest test of the year. I thought he showed us he's a real baller, to be honest with you. It's not just a product of bad defenses. 72% completion percentage, 265 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. That cover 2, cover 3 robber caused them a little bit of trouble. First interception was underthrown. Happens. Second interception late in the game, he was forcing the ball down the field. Am I going to blame him? No. Probably could have took the check down. Whatever. He had some trouble against the Rams, no doubt, but I still think he made some really impressive plays. And you can look to the future and say, we can trust Daniel Jones moving forward.